Hey, happy Friday. Woohoo! Yay, I'm excited. I'm glad it's Friday. I hope you are. I had a pretty good day. It was kind of boring though. I didn't really have anything interesting going on today. Fridays for me sometimes are kind of slow. Just like, I don't know. I think a lot of people, I don't know what they do on Fridays. Like, they knock off early or something, but usually by about lunchtime, it's just dead. And I'm just like, anyway. It was a good day though. I mean, nothing went wrong, or nothing was crazy or strange or anything, so it was pretty good. I got so the tree guy was coming out yesterday at 5:30 to give me the estimate. To just a little backstory, my neighbors have this giant magnolia tree in their backyard, and a whole bunch of it hangs over the fence into my yard, and I'm constantly having to rake up those big ass magnolia trees all the time, and big magnolia leaves all the time, and I'm tired of it. So I wanted to see about just getting it cut, the part on my side of the fence, getting it cut. Now, this is a humongous tree, and I just assumed it would be, just really, I thought it would be, my guess was between $1,000 and $1,500 to get this done. Because, I cannot stress, this is just a gigantic tree. And there's quite a bit of it hanging over my fence. I don't know who decided planting a magnolia tree there would be a good idea, but it is way too close to that fence. Anyway, it's been there for a long time. Well, they sent me the estimate. I couldn't believe it. So I was sure it would be $1,000, around $1,000 at least, maybe more. No. Oh my God. Guess how much? $350. $350. I said, yes. Oh God, 1,000 times yes, please. Yes. Your terms are acceptable. Please, yes. So anyway, they've got me on the schedule. They're really busy right now, but they said they could get out there next month. So I'm on the schedule to get that damn tree trimmed back. Hallelujah. So I'm very happy about that. I checked with my son, because it's going to be during the day. I'm going to be at work. I don't really feel like taking a day off work for that. They didn't say I had to be there, but I kind of feel like somebody ought to be there. So I texted my son about it, and I told him what day it was, and he said, yeah, I could probably be there that day. So I would like to have somebody there. I don't really feel like taking a day off work for it, but he said he should be able to be there. So if he can't be there, whatever. My video cameras, there are 2 different cameras that will get video of the entire thing, audio as well. So if anything happens, there will be 2 different angles of video of, if there's some kind of incident or something. Hopefully there won't be. But allegedly with these neighbors I've got, there's no telling. Hopefully there won't. Maybe everybody will, be grown-ups and, play nice, but allegedly they might not. I don't know. Somebody might just flip out. I just had somebody ask me to make a video about having kids. When it's the right time to have kids, or whether or not to have kids. This is going to be kind of quick. I'm no expert on that. I don't think one person can really answer for another person how you should handle that. It's a very personal thing. Something that, it's something that you're just kind of have to figure it out for yourself. I know that's not very helpful. There's a new one. What? They've opened a new La Bamba right there. When did that happen? Holy shit. Sorry. No, squirrel. I'm sorry. I get distracted when I'm driving. So, no, I cannot. There's not like a formula where you can plug in some numbers and you'll see the right date to conceive or anything like that, or to not conceive, I will give you some of my thoughts on it. And again, I am just a goober on the internet. Just take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to do anything based on what I say. I don't know any more than anybody else does. I am just a goober on the internet, and I'm a goober out in the world along with 8 billion other goobers. We're all just doing the best we can. That's all you can do. Shoot. When will you know it's the right time to have kids? You won't, because it's never the right time to have kids. I recommend you go onto YouTube if you're already there. Shit. Back out of this video after I shut up. and go look up Idiocracy introduction. I think their names are Carol and Jeff or something. They do this introduction where they have this couple, like the higher IQ couple and the lower IQ guy. I think his name was Cleavon or something. And so they're talking about the higher education, the higher IQ couples talk about the right time to have kids, and ultimately they never have any kids because it's never the right time to have kids. Meanwhile, Cleavon's had like 47 kids with like 10 different women. The whole movie is funny. I highly recommend Idiocracy if you've never seen it, although these days watching it, it's more like a documentary than a comedy, but wow, it's a good movie. You are never going to know when it's the right time to have kids. You're not. You could say, well, we can't afford it, like the couple in the beginning of Idiocracy. Well, it's just not the right time, not with the market the way it is, and it was just, well, we can't have any kids right now. Of course not. So you see them 5 years later. Now, the market is a mess. Can't have kids now 5 years later. And they're arguing because now they're trying to conceive and they can't, and they don't know why, and they're kind of bitching at each other, and it's sad, but a lot of couples end up in that situation, unfortunately. There's never going to be a right time to do it. You are never, ever going to be 100% ready to have kids. You are never, because you can't just look at money. You have to look at, like, am I mentally at a point where I can do this mentally, physically, emotionally? There are a lot of things that you can consider. You're never going to be 100% ready to do it. If you wait and wait thinking that you will be later, you're never going to get there because there's always going to be some other obstacle or some other thing. You are never going to be totally ready to have kids. And even if you think you are totally ready, having kids there is on-the-job training for that. I don't care how much babysitting you did. I don't care how many nieces and nephews you have. When you have your own, you have a lot to learn. There's stuff that's going to come up that you've never dealt with before, and you learn on the job. But it's okay because we're all doing it. Hell, we've all done. Anybody that's had kids, you learn on the job, and every kid is different. Don't think if you have more than one that second, third, whatever kid is going to be just like the first. They probably won't be. They will probably be the mirror. They will be the total opposite of the first kid. If the first kid was a Tasmanian devil, the first one will come out like Buddha. It'll be all like at one with the universe and harmonious and shit. No, they'll be total opposites. That's what my brother and I were. And my kids were total opposites. Holy shit. My younger son came out with a lampshade on his head and a wine bottle in his hand. He was something. Woo! He was something else. I was not ready. I was not prepared. Oh my Lord. That boy. He aged me 27 years just in the first 6 months. I love him though, but he was very different. From day one, he was different from his brother. So you will never be ready. And I'm just telling you that because it's a fact. You will never be totally ready to be a parent. And it's okay. Nobody's totally ready for it. I don't care. One thing I would advise you to do is get off the internet, except for watching me, of course. I don't want you to stop doing that. But don't go onto these mommy blogs and these, social media people that post these beautiful posed pictures of themselves with their children and their perfect little home and their perfect little life. Don't think that's real. It's not real. Hell, they don't even live that way. It's fake. It's not real. Parents do not actually live like that. Wow. Sorry. Damn. There's a car over here and apparently it's fully functional, but the whole side is like bashed in, but it's still operating. I'm sorry, I've never seen anything like that. It's driving. Are you driving away? Hot damn. No. Is it expensive to have kids? Yes, it is. Do you have to, have a lot of sleepless nights, give up time? Yes, you do. You do. But here's another way to look at it. Whether you have kids or not, you're going to have expensive things in your life that you have to pay for. You're going to have reasons you have sleepless nights. You're going to have to sacrifice for other things as well. Don't look at it like you're not ever going to have to deal with stuff like that if you don't have children. You're still going to have to deal with adversity and challenges of all sorts, whether you have children or not. If you are, I think if you're thinking about having children and you're not sure if you want to do it or not, you need to take a moment and do two things. You need to seriously look at yourself. It's like damn Mad Max. I hate this road. You have to, let me get parked. I can't think with these people zooming around me. You need to take a moment and seriously you need to think about yourself. I mean, you need to be more honest with yourself than you've ever been. And think about, how selfish am I? Am I a selfish person? Are you? Because some people are. Now, I was a CPS investigator when I was in my 20s, Child Protective Services. I did that for about a year before I went off and joined a cult and then moved to Illinois for a while. But that's a story for another day. I can tell you that I have firsthand encountered people that had no business being parents. They had no damn business having children because they didn't want to give up their lifestyle that they had before they had children. And they didn't seem to understand, after you have kids, you cannot go out partying all night and leave your little kids at home by themselves. And they're like toddlers. You can't do that. That's not cool. And they just can't seem to understand, like, well, why not? They really, like, oh my God. Anyway, how selfish are you? Because, and I'm not saying if you have kids, you can never have fun again. You can never go out. I'm not saying that. And some people want to be martyrs when they have kids, and they enjoy just sacrificing literally everything for their children. You don't need to do that either. You don't want to take it to that extreme either. You can still go out. You can still have fun. You can still do fun things. But your children are going to have to take priority in your life, especially when they're small. You can't just, go off and leave them all the time. So you do have to put time and energy and money and effort into your children. And you have to be very honest with yourself. Am I going to be able to do that without resenting this child and resenting the people around me? I mean, can I do that? You need to seriously think about that before you have a child. Because once that child is here, it's a little too late to be thinking about it. Think about that ahead of time. You also need to look at your partner, whoever you're thinking about procreating with, whoever that is. Take a good long look at this person. Now, can you imagine this person as a parent? Can you imagine parenting a child with this person? Is this person going to be there? Are you going to be doing this together? Or are you going to be doing it alone? Or are you going to be expecting them to do everything? You have to be honest about that. You don't gloss over it. It'll be fine. It'll work out. And you need to communicate with this person. Do they know you want to have a child? If you feel like you can't talk to them about a child, you are not ready to have a child with them. If you cannot just even discuss it, you're definitely not ready to have a child with anyone. Because that is the least of the shit you won't have to discuss if you end up wanting to have a kid. They need to be aware that you want to do that. They need to be a willing and fully informed part of what you're doing. Otherwise, I promise you, this shit ain't gonna go well. Don't try to spring it on them like you're in a soap opera. It's not going to work. It's not. And don't think that having a baby will save your relationship. It's not going to save anything. It will just put more strain on your relationship and bring another person into it who really doesn't need to be subjected to a bunch of bullshit. Don't think that having a baby is going to save your relationship. It won't. Just like getting married won't save your relationship. I think that's why you see these couples, like, they've lived together, they've been together for years, and then they get married, and like 6 months later they split up. I think they got married, like the relationship was kind of petering out, and they felt like, well, maybe we can rejuvenate it by getting married. No, it was already on the rocks. Getting married is not going to change that. Having a baby is not going to change that either. You have to look at the reasons why you want to have a baby. What are your reasons for wanting to do it? I can tell you for me, personally, I always said I was never having kids. I always said, and my brother said the same thing, and he stuck to it. My brother never had children. The dysfunctional way that we grew up, look at that car, holy hell. That Mustang has seen some shit. That Mustang has PTSD. Oh, windshield bashed in. Mad Max, I swanee. It's damn Mad Max territory out here. My brother always said he didn't want to have kids because he was afraid that because of the way we grew up, that he would be physically abusive with his own children. And so he opted to just never have children. And I kind of felt the same way. Like the way I grew up, I don't think I'd be a very good mom because, I just don't think I have the right tools for the job. I mean, I grew up in chaos and I just don't feel like I could do it. I have nothing good to go on here. But for me, okay, now this is just me. Again, goober on the internet, goober in the world. When I turned 30, I kind of felt differently about it. I did have a change of heart. I thought, when I turned 30 for the first time, I felt like a grown-up for the first time in my life. And I got to thinking, if I ever do want to have a kid, I'm kind of running out of time to do it. I don't want to get into that age range where you start running, your risk of birth defects and all kinds of problems, it's like a hockey stick after like 30, your mid-30s, and your chances of conceiving drop like a rock. So I thought, if I ever want to have a kid, I need to seriously think about it. And I was married at the time, and my husband at the time was fine with it. He said, if you want to, we will. If you don't, it's up to you. And I decided I did. I was going to be one and done, and fortunately I had no trouble. I was pregnant less than a month later, and my son is wonderful and healthy and smart and awesome. And I'm so glad I had him. I've never regretted it. The best thing I've ever done in my life, the best thing I will ever leave on this planet is my kids, my 2 children. I have my bonus kid too, my younger son. Yeah, I was one and done, but no, apparently not. Because 4 years later, I have another one, but I'm done. Store's closed. I'm done. I'm almost 50 anyway. I don't think I have to worry about it unless like Jesus intervenes, or God, not Jesus, but God would have to intervene at this point. So I think having kids was the best thing I've ever done. I really do. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it. Was it a sacrifice? I don't look at it as a sacrifice. Like I regret, I gave up so much. No, I didn't. What did I give up? Do you know what I gave up? I gave up nights of sitting on the couch, maybe a beach trip every now and then. I didn't give up anything that mattered. I didn't. Every bit of sacrifice, would I lose some sleep? You have to pay for things for your kids, but even if you don't have kids, you got shit you got to pay for. None of that stuff matters. It doesn't matter. It was every bit of anything I went through for my kids was worth it. I'd do it again 1,000,000 times over. The circumstances were not ideal. Now, if I had taken a good hard look at the person I had a child with, I might have changed my mind, but I wasn't. If you've ever had baby fever, and I kind of was hit with a little baby fever, you don't think clearly. And I do think baby fever is a real thing. You don't think clearly when you have it. You really don't. Your hormones just take over your brain. And I was not thinking clearly, but I'm glad I wasn't, because I have 2 great kids now. They're awesome people, and I'm really glad they're here. I don't feel like I sacrificed a damn thing for them. No, I'm grateful to have them in my life. I'm grateful that they're here, and that one day they will go out into the world and be out there with other people. I think I will hopefully release 2 good men onto the world. I'm trying. So you're never gonna fully be ready to do it. Now, I had never been around children. My son was the second baby I ever held in my life. I was 31 years old. I had never been around children. Didn't know any. My husband at the time had to show me how to change a diaper. I was too embarrassed to ask the nurse, but he showed me how to do it because he had 3 kids before we got married. So he had done it. I didn't know how to change a diaper. I didn't know how any of that stuff worked. But, you learn very quickly because you have plenty of opportunities to practice stuff like that. So, yeah, I learned pretty quickly. And he was a very easy baby for the most part. He was pretty calm. And so, yeah. But the circumstances weren't ideal. I mean, I'm not going to go into details about my personal life. But no, the circumstances were not ideal, especially with the second one. But we made it through. There were days it seemed like they were going to go on forever. And it's like, this is never going to get better. But it did. It got better. It was okay. And now I have 2 great kids that are 2 great teenagers. And they're taller than me now, which I'm having trouble coping with the fact that I am now the shortest person in my house. Is it expensive? Yes, it is. You might want to look at your budget before you think about having kids. Check out your insurance situation. There is a lot you have to think about. There really is. But, yeah, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk. I know it's not. Even if you have all the resources and all the everything, having kids is hard. I mean, there are days that you just want to pull your hair out. And am I a perfect parent? Hell no. I mess up all the time. You will do things and say things to your kids. You will say things that you will regret. You will make decisions that you will regret. And you'll feel like shit for it. Don't be afraid to apologize to your child. I have apologized to my children more than a few times for saying something in anger or making a decision in haste because I was impatient or just having a bad day. It's not their fault. And I realized it once your head clears up, like, it is not his fault that I had a bad day. He did not deserve that. And I owe him an apology, and I would apologize. Never stop learning. Never stop trying. Learn from your mistakes. Pat yourself on the back occasionally. Because you're doing the best you can and hang in there. But yeah, I know a lot of people are choosing not to have children. And everybody has their own reasons for it, and again, I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to make decisions for anyone. Goober on the internet. But I will be forever thankful to the universe and to whoever or whatever for the kids I have. I'm so grateful every day that I have them and they are here. I have never once regretted my decision to have 2 kids. I'm so thankful to have them. And they are the best thing. They are the best thing about me. They are the best thing that I will ever give to the world. Better than nothing else matters. I don't care. Other stuff doesn't matter. It's important. I mean, you got to work, you got to pay bills, you got to brush your teeth, you got to do all that stuff, but none of that stuff matters as much as the people in your life, whether we're talking about the children you have or whatever. It's the people that matter, not all the other shit. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that and take it for granted, and I think that's a mistake. So anyway, it's getting hot in this car, and I'm at Aldi, and I got to go in there and get some stuff because my kids want hamburgers tonight, and I don't have enough hamburger patties, and I don't have any hamburger buns. So I got to go in there and get some more patties, get some buns, and whatever else I find, because I always find some. So I just wanted to take a minute and give you a little bit of my stream of consciousness about having children. It's an adventure. It is a hell of an adventure. There's never a dull moment. Absolutely. I've never regretted it. I'm not saying there aren't parents who haven't regretted having children. I know there are. I know there are parents that regret becoming parents. I can't speak for them, and I can't speak for you. I can just speak for myself. I was afraid because of the way I grew up that I could not be a good mom. I really worried about that, just like my brother worried that he would be a bad parent. I think my brother would have been a great parent. I think he would have been a good parent, but that was his choice, not mine. Like, that's your life, dude. But, you know, don't let the fear of not being able to be perfect stop you from doing it. Because none of us are perfect. There's not a perfect parent out there. I don't give a shit what they look like on Instagram. That's all bullshit anyway. That's why I don't look at Instagram. Every now and then I'll post a picture of one of my cats on there or something, but I don't deal with it because it's just depressing. So I just don't look at it because it makes me feel like maybe my life isn't perfect enough or whatever. And shit, their life's not like that either. They can't live that way either. They just make it look that way. There's no telling how many pictures they had to take to get that one. Hell, they probably had a photographer do it. Anyway, I don't know. It's a tough decision to make, but you know, and you could think, well, in these times, I don't want to bring a kid into this world. Well, just be glad that your ancestors didn't feel that way, because if they had, you wouldn't be here. You know, I was thinking about my grandmother, my mom's mom, who grew up during she was in her late teens, early 20s during the Depression. And I was trying to think, like, when did she and Grandpa get married? They got married in 1932. So that was right. The Depression was still raging at that point, definitely. And they had 5 children during that, you know, not long after that. And, was it hard? Yeah, it was hard. No, they didn't have a lot. They were not wealthy people. They were quite poor, but they got through. They struggled and they did it. And I'm so glad they did, because if they hadn't, then I wouldn't be here and my kids wouldn't be here. And, you know, it all stops, and somebody's got to have the babies. Somebody's got to do it. Why not you? Only if you want to. I mean, that's up to you. That is a decision that you have to make. I cannot make it for you. So again, I'm sorry I don't have like a magic formula to, you know, help you decide when or whether or not to have kids, because there's not one. You just have to, I don't know. Sometimes you have to just go up on that diving board and jump off. You just have to go for it. But you're the only one who can make that decision. I can't make it for you. And your partner needs to be a part of that. They need to be willing to jump off that diving board as well. Yeah, don't be tricking people into becoming parents. That's not cool. Y'all both need to go into it fully aware and informed of what's happening. That's just how I feel. But yeah, it's getting hot as hell in this car, and I gotta go home and make hamburgers and whatever else I'm gonna make. What else am I gonna make? I don't know. I'm going to go home and make some food for my kids because they're waiting for me. So I'm very happy to be here with y'all. And I don't know if any of this was helpful or not, but you know, sometimes you can feel kind of isolated, but maybe it'll help to remember that we're all struggling with something. You know, we're all just trying to figure shit out. You know, we're all just doing the best we can. Whether you're talking about, you know, having kids or any kind of big decision, we're all just trying to make the best choices we know to make at the time with the information we have. Swanee, that woman has taken longer. There's a woman here with this cart, and she's been frittering around. I could have done a whole week's worth of shopping in the amount of time she's been futzing around with those bags. She's putting everything in bags. She didn't even have that much stuff. She had like 2 little bags of stuff, and she's still trying to get it situated. Bless her heart. She just can't decide how she wants her stuff to go in those bags. I don't know why I tell y'all about stuff that y'all can't see. I'm sorry. It's just, sometimes I catch myself looking and I realize y'all don't know what I'm looking at, but I don't want to be like, oh, here's a stranger in the parking lot. Oh, it's not cool. I just tell you what I see. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sticking with me when my brain is like a pinball machine. I appreciate it. Happy Friday again. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm having another sleepover at my house, and my son asked me this morning if another kid can come. So I think now I'm going to have like 3 or 4 extra kids at my house this weekend. God help me. Woo! Anyway, that's my weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.